What's up, Wolverine fans? Here with Coach Blade and Young Blade for Blade's Banter. Getting ready here for the Maryland game. Just recap the Northwestern game. Check that out after the whistle with Coach Blade on our YouTube channel. Now we're gonna start talking about Maryland. We're gonna talk about this young quarterback they got, the good coaching staff they have. They have one of our former coaches, and then we'll talk about the keys to victory for our offense and defense and special teams as always. Coach Blade, we're rejuvenized after you talking about Northwestern and the positive things that you saw. Now, where are we at in the Big Ten? What are we going to do to go and beat Maryland and have our best foot forward going into the end of the season?
Well, the two teams that have dominated the conference so far are Indiana, and they dominate everything. They're not only dominant one-loss record, statistically, they're the best in every phase of the football. Their lead the country in turnover ratio, and we talked about turnovers and how 5 turnovers, and somehow we survived that near-death experience at Wrigley Field. And then Ohio State, of course, is undefeated. Indiana's played 11 games. They're 11-0. Ohio State's 10-0. Anytime, anytime a college football team gets 10 victories in a season, that's a remarkable season and a winning season. But there are 3 teams that have 1 loss in the conference. Now, Oregon only has 1 loss on the season. They're 9-1. USC has 2 losses on the season. And then Michigan, who has 8-2, along with USC, who has two losses within a conference. 1 loss in a conference, but 2 losses on the season. So, everything we want to accomplish is still ahead of us. We could be playing in Indianapolis. Now, a lot of good things have to happen. We have to beat a great Ohio State team to get there. But prior to that, we're going to have to beat a team that has a really good coach who just got endorsed by the athletic director in the university at Maryland. And their sense is that he's done a great job, but they need to give him more support, NIL money, so he can go to the portal and get great players and make Maryland competitive. And they focused on the portal, but also recruiting. But I think the way they look at it from a recruiting standpoint, it's going to be difficult to go against the big guys to get the young guys coming in. Although they were able to recruit this great quarterback who is very similar to Bryce in many ways, many of the same attributes.
And stat lines too.
Go to the portal, and then put a team together that way. So Loxley's job is not, and that was a smart thing, I think. And I think Wisconsin made a smart move when they retained Fickle. And I think Michigan State, which has really dissolved into, it's been a terrible season for them. And they shall not go to a bowl game. But, I think they ought to keep the coach up there. I think he's a good man and give him a chance to put this together. But anyway, so that's where we are. There are 10 teams that have qualified for bowls, including the 2 top teams that are probably going to be in the CFP. They're going to be in the CFP no matter what happens the rest of the season. And then, Rutgers is 5-5. We don't play them. They play Ohio State and Penn State. So they're going to have to get one of those. And then they go to Columbus this weekend. And then Northwestern, who I'm rooting for, to be honest with you. After what I saw, the effort, the tenaciousness, how hard they play, how hard they hit. I'm rooting for them. They have Minnesota, and then they have a traditional rivalry game with Illinois. So it's not going to be easy for either one of those teams, but they're still in a position to go to a bowl game. And so, my team, who got denied the right to go to a bowl game after a 10-0-1 season, and they changed the antiquated rules of the Big Ten where you could only go to the Rose Bowl, is responsible. I don't know if these guys know that, but this is on our back. We had these great teams, and then next year we had a 10-1 season and was denied the opportunity to go to bowl when Denny Franklin's senior year. So those 2 teams didn't go to a bowl game, which was really, I don't need to go into that, but that was a miscarriage of justice. Well, anyway, on the basis at the end, they changed the rules, and I'm telling you, bowl games are important. So it's important to go to a bowl game. You get to practice, get to develop young players, you get the experience going to bowl games. So it's important. Now we
There's
got to beat
nothing.
Maryland
I was just
to
going to
win
tell.
it.
I was just going to say, Maryland. They need 2 wins to go to a bowl game, and they got us in Michigan State. They need this win this weekend to get to 6. So they're going to give
Yeah,
us their
you're
best
correct
shot.
about that. So Maryland and PSU, Penn State, are still they're both 4-6.
That's what I'm
So if they
saying.
get 6, we could go. So
Yeah,
that's an incentive for Maryland,
yeah,
no question.
yeah,
And we're going into their place.
yeah.
And so, we're away 2 weeks in a row. We're coming off really, honestly, let's be honest with each other, two subpar performances where we have won. And in the end, that's the most important statistic of all. But, we haven't played as well as we could have, although the defense has done well in both games. Offensively, we sputtered, we've turned the ball over, and, we can do better. Now, I should mention this that Maryland has 18 interceptions, and they've taken 4 back for touchdowns. So, they got a pretty good defensive secondary. And so, Bryce has to really make good choices. And Bryce is getting better. I talked about how he's trying to force those balls into the middle when they hung those safeties underneath. He probably didn't see them. And in high school, my sense is he was able to do that. Throw it into a phone booth because his arm strength, so he's got such great arm strength. But that's not the way it is now. So I go back to where I think they have to look at it. So Bryce, look at your first guy, first read, second read. If they're not there, put the ball away and go. And he's done that successfully. And he's had a sense for on third down when to go to get the first down. And he's been successful doing it. Their kid, Malik Washington, has done the same thing. He's run for over 300 yards. So I think he's one of the, I think their leading rushers rushed for only about 440 yards. Now they are a pass team. They've passed the ball. Now they throw a lot of short passes because their average per attempt is only 7 yards. 6 yards. I'm sorry. We're 7.6. You want to be over 8 per attempt. And so they have a couple guys that have been caught some long balls. There are a couple guys are well over 60 yards. 2 guys have received. They have 5 guys that have over 30 receptions. The 2 running backs together have over 44 catches. That means 4 to 5 times a game they're going to throw it to a running back. We have to be prepared for that. And I think that's reflected in the yards per attempt because some of these passes are behind the line of scrimmage or quick passes, quick screens, and things like maybe screens, quick screens, in order to get the ball in space to one of their athletes and see if he can make plays. So they're passing the ball 59% of the time and running it 41% of the time. We're running it 60% of the time and passing it 40% of the time. That's going to be who we are. They have Pep Hamilton, who coached for us and did a good job when he was with us back in the late 2017 to 2019. But he has a tremendous amount of experience in the NFL, and he's coming from the Browns, where he was an offensive coach. So I always feel like the guys who come from pro football bring something, like Wink Martindale, our coach, brings something more with them because they played at a high level. And now, sometimes it's too sophisticated for the kids because you got to ground these young guys in the fundamentals, and they have to execute the fundamentals before they do anything. And so you can't put too much on their plate. Some guys come from pro football and they come in with a playbook like this thick, and the kids can't process it. First things first: block, tackle, stance, alignment, assignment, execution. And I think Wink suffered from that a little bit when he first started at Michigan. We had a lot of coverage breaks. We weren't well coordinated, but now I think that's behind us, and he recognizes how to do it. And I have a lot of faith in him. So he's got a challenge in this young quarterback. Malik Washington is something, and he's a gifted quarterback, much like ours. They are not dissimilar. And so our guy's throwing 6 interceptions on a year. He's throwing 7. But he's thrown the ball a lot more times. He's only completing on 58% of his passes. And I'll mention this about Bryce. He's over 61.5%. He went 8 for 8 at the beginning of the last game against Northwestern. And he probably has 16 to 17 drops. If you add those in, that puts him back up about 65%, which is where J.J. McCarthy was when we won the championship. Now, points allowed, we've been good. We're only giving up 17 points. They're giving up 23.5, but they're only scoring 23.4. Now, from a turnover standpoint, we were plus, we're still plus zero point 0.3, which is remarkable after 5 in the last game. But they are plus almost zero point 0.8, which is almost one turnover per game. If they win a turnover battle, that makes it tough for us. Somehow we're overcome 5 turnovers, and I don't know how we do that. And I think Shamaz might have fell back on the ball, and I don't think they gave us to us. And then he got sidelined because of that. But I do think he perhaps on that punt return uh, fell back on the ball. So on third down consistency, our offense efficiency has been pretty good, 44. We want to get that up over 45. We're only 13th in the conference there. Now they're 18th in the conference on their offense. They've only been successful 40% of the time on third downs. That means 6 out of 10 times the defense is going to start. Our defense is good. We've only allowed people to be successful 35%. We want to get that down to low 30s. Their defense has allowed the offense to be successful 39.2%. Where we've really struggled is the red zone. We're 77%. They are better than us in the red zone. I'll say the statistics here. They're over 80%, which is not great. You have to be over 90%. The best teams in the conference and in the country are over 90% in the red zone. So this is a challenge for us. Their best tackler is a linebacker. They have some now. I should mention this. They have 25 sacks. So they've rushed the passer pretty good. We have 24 sacks on the season. Now we have 62 tackle for losses, and we've been real good on fourth down. They have 55 tackle for losses. So they have some real athletic guys up front that can give us trouble. Our offensive line, we talked about, they're getting better, but they're still not great at pass pro, particularly pocket protection. When he gets out of the pocket, he's really effective. Now, he's got to get to the point where he either runs or throws it away. Sometimes he tries to force balls in. Also, when our receivers run down the field, they have to give him some room. And the way you do that is by moving. The defender's going to try to push you and use the sideline as the boundary as another defender. And they've done that to McCulley. Now, McCulley's so tall, I think they want to do back shoulder throws. They can't do that yet. We've had trouble with that. We're trying to execute that, but that's the future.
Last game, he made a couple touch passes. He had a couple. He started to become a passer.
He put air on the ball.
Yeah.
He threw the ball to Marsh, and then he missed.
I know what you're talking about with McCulley, though. I know what you're talking about with McCulley, though, for sure.
They're pushing him off to the sidelines. He's got to create separation. So he's got to move. He's got to move the defender, which will allow Bryce to fade him to the boundary without just having to make a perfect pass or throw it out of bounds, or in fact throwing it inside and the potential for it being intercepted. Now remember, this team has 18 interceptions. 18. Now I think we've got to really focus on the offensive part of our special teams. That's our return game. Now, since they put Marsh back down kicking on the kickoffs, he's done a nice job. They also replaced Shamaz after he fumbled. And I hate to say it, that's the right thing to do. You fumble, you're out. That's how my coach did it. And so you didn't fumble. You took care of that ball. That's a prized possession. We talked about how Coesdale came in there. Man, that guy, when he came in there, that young guy from Grand Rapids who came in there and did such a nice job, really a great job on that last drive. When the offensive line took over, much like they did against Purdue, when it comes down to it, those kids rise up. Say whatever you want about them.
Well,
they've struggled.
And
Marsh, they win the game for us.
Marsh kind of rose up too with that 3rd down and 10 catch, Coach. Toe tapping on the side. That was, what a beautiful play. Marsh
is everything that they talked about him in the preseason, and they made reference to how good he was. And boy, he's good. He's that Marsh. They got a Marsh up there at Michigan State who's real good, and we got a Marsh who's really good. And so, and I like our guy.
The other play that I forgot to mention on our after the whistle, Coach, is that kid Jordan Young from North Carolina. That he got beat, and then he got to the play, found the ball, came through the guy's hands. Those 2 plays by 2 freshmen, Coach. Those guys. those are plays to win the freaking game, Coach. Right there.
And we're playing with really young players. There's a thing we used to say, and you got to remember, Bryce turned 18 on August 19th. I know that because I'm 17. I mean, I was 17 when I came to college. I turned 18 on September 19th, my freshman year. Now, there was no counted on playing. Nobody's counting on me on playing. I did pretty good in the freshman games, but freshmen were ineligible. And we're relying on this young guy so much. We cannot, we got to win the game as a team. We got to be a team. And part of that is like the old coach used to say, everybody, we're not going to criticize each other. We're going to stick together through adversity, no matter what. But everybody has to execute their assignment. No mistakes. No mistakes. We should beat Maryland. I'm going to say this: Maryland struggled. They've had a bad season. I don't know what the heck. How many in a row have they lost? Um, uh, Maryland's lost 6 in a row. 6 in a row. Maryland's lost. They're 4-6 in the conference. We have to go in there right away and let them know that we're there to win. We have ambition. We have bigger goals. We have things we want to accomplish,
Well,
and they're in front of us.
it's just crazy, Coach, the parity in college football. I mean, you saw we beat Washington. You saw what Washington did to Purdue. They ran them off the field. So it just doesn't equal up all the time. Styles, freshman injuries, when you play them.
Matchups, right? Matchups.
It's all about
So,
matchups, Coach.
I mean, now our defense. The one thing that we need in this game is sacks. We have to pressure this kid and make him. Now he throws the ball short a lot. He'll dump the ball, but we got to pressure him and get to him. We got to hit him. We got to take him off his game, and we need to do that not just blitzing. We need to do that. Now on occasion we got to blitz him, and when we do that, we got to make sure we mark up, and we're not letting any zone or receiver run free. But we got to hit him. So if you're going to blitz, you better get to him. And Roller's back. That's a big deal. He's a great blitzer. Hausman is playing really well. I think he's all over the field and he's been a great leader for us. And then of course
He's sideline to sideline, Coach. He's really good. When he gets,
he's done a great job, and we know what Barham is capable of.
yeah,
I mean that guy over there, and I expect he's going to try to show his old teammates and his old coach that he made the right decision. And then Moore, who made it. We tip a lot of balls too. We've tipped a ton of balls, and that's good. I mean, that's a big deal. And sometimes we'll tip them up and maybe catch them, but we've tipped a lot of balls, and that's been good.
Critical situations too.
No question. So our defensive line's holding up against the run. They don't have a lot of sacks under their belt, but if you can push, and this is what we used to do last year with the great Mason Graham and the great Grant. When you push and you get those guys not to allow him to escape, but pressure from the outside and keep our zone and make him reset his feet, that's going to make it difficult for him to throw the ball downfield. Now, I'm going to repeat. They have 5 guys, I think 5, if I count it right, with over 30 receptions. That's a lot of guys. Their running backs have caught over 44 balls. I think they have a tight end who's caught, 35. So he's going to throw the ball short to the tight end and to the running backs. So the ball's going to come out of there. Now we have to collapse on those. We have to close on the ball, and we have to tackle. Open field tackling. Urban Meyer talks about open field tackling and how critical it is in today's game, and he is exactly right. It is difficult to take guys down in the open field. So you have to have the right angle. You can't give them a two-way go. You have to force them to one way or the other. Turn your shoulders, and then you have to get into them and wrap when you tackle. So those are all the things we got to do. We got to come together and collapse on the ball quickly. We got to close on the ball. We have good team speed. We can do it. And we have to limit their gains when he throws the ball short. By the same token, I'd like to see us run the tight end underneath or delay the tight end and give a couple of little receptions like that that can turn out to be big plays. Now, we've been able to throw the ball. Marshall catch.
They did one with Klein last game, and it worked perfectly. It was great.
Yes,
Got us a first down into the red zone as well. It would be nice to see that a little bit more.
Yeah. and that I think that helps. That'll help Bryce. He threw the ball in a, one time he threw a beautiful old job in what's called a hole. There was a too deep coverage, and we had an outside release, and there's a void area in between the safety comes over and a short guy. The guy was covering underneath the flat underneath, and he threw the ball in there with some touch. He threw it nicely. So they're obviously focused on the things they should be focused on. They're teaching the right things. I really, I like Chip Lindsey. He talks about the fundamentals. He talks about he's had a great
Well,
quarterback.
I like Chip Lindsey too, Coach. We just got a car. We just signed a car. They haven't signed him yet.
Tommy Carr.
They haven't signed.
Tommy Carr. I've known Tommy Carr, and I've known, C.J. Carr since they've been little babies, little boys. Of course, I've known his father. I knew their fathers when he was a little guy.
Yeah.
Lloyd and I coached together, and we had picnics over at Lloyd's house. I don't know, were you around for those?
I wasn't born yet for that.
You weren't born. We used to have big picnics over there, and so I've known that family. And Tommy Curtis, great All-American at Michigan, is the other grandfather who was a safety. I think he's from Solon, Ohio. Anyway, a great player for us, All-American. Tons of interceptions in the College Football Hall of Fame, by the way. So those guys had the right pedigree. But Tommy Carr, I remember Lloyd saying to me, there was a difference between him and CJ. If they were walking down the street, there had been rain, Tommy Carr never saw a mud puddle he didn't want to jump in. That's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
And I like that kind of guy. We got a guy like that. Me and you got a guy like that named our Remington guy. He never saw mud he didn't want to jump in and play in. And so I like that kind of guy. So I'm excited that he's coming to Michigan. I know he's going to do well. He's got the right two grandfathers I know well, and he's going to do great. So I'm happy that we got him. I'm delighted, as a matter of fact. But I'm also delighted that the guy at Notre Dame is doing so well. Even though at 9-2 they're forcing them into the playoffs.
Yeah.
They want them in, so they're putting them up.
I was going to ask you about that, Coach. What's the deal?
12 teams that get in. Ohio State and Indiana are going in.
When's Notre Dame? When are they going to make Notre Dame join a conference? What do you think about that, Coach? What's your feeling?
Well, I think Notre Dame has to. Here's the problem: Notre Dame will have if they don't have great teams. Now, this guy's done a nice job there, Freeman. He's a good coach, but they don't share in any revenue. Their revenue is their own, and so they're going to get a full share of the bowl revenue, the CFP revenue. The teams there'll probably be 4 teams we hope from the Big Ten will get in, but all 16 teams will share in that revenue equally because you're in a conference. I think being part of the Big Ten conference is a great thing and important. I don't like some of their rulings or some of the administrative things that they've done. I told you about how I feel about that damn stupid sign stealing. It was not a big deal. They make it a big deal. I believe in following the rules, but it gives you no advantage. You got 25 seconds. Any coach that doesn't change his signs prior to a game deserves to have his sign stolen, and everybody does. So
that's what Grubb said. That's what Grubb said at Alabama. The offensive coordinator at Alabama. He goes, "Hey, Venables, I'm changing my signs. Good luck."
Yeah. It's tough. You can't do it. You got 25 seconds anyway. Now they can do a little better communicating because they can talk to the quarterback now. But that shuts off 15 seconds before they play. 15 seconds before the ball snapped. With 15 seconds left, they shut. You can't speak to them during the course of a game, during the course of a play. So 50% of what the quarterback does is make a math decision, numerical decision, where we have numerical superiority. And this is really critical for Michigan. And Bryce has done a nice job with this. People don't even look at this part of his game. He's a young guy to do this. So you get in there and you make a decision, and we shift guys. We shift Bredesen, and we shift the tight ends, and then we go on balance. Then he has to count. Where do we have blocking numerical superiority? Where we have more blockers and they have defenders, and then call the play so it goes there, along with the RPO that they just did. They did it successfully, except for the fumble when he put the ball up in the guy's chin strap. The RPO was good. and effective. And as you talked about that, that it was so effective in the first half that Northwestern came in and started to hang their safeties,
We were
which
running
were
for
running down the lane to stop the run.
Yeah, they were running for over 7, almost 8 yards a carry on RPOs, and then throwing for 10. That was our average, Coach.
So Maryland is going to look at this film and they're going to say, boy, Michigan was lucky to win with all those turnovers. But they're also going to look at the film and say, boy, they threw the ball. He was 8 for 8. And we had some longer plays. We had long plays that were successful. And they're going to say, we got Marsh over here, but this other kid, McCulley's a factor. He caught balls. And then they have all these tight ends that come in and do well. And so they're not just going to be able to put 8 men up. And if they do, Bryce will get him. You watch. He's getting better. He's understanding experience, experience, experience. The big X. And there's only one way to get the big X, and that's through living and experiencing it and playing. And so now, and Sharon said this, and this is what we used to say when you have a freshman that has started 8, 9 games and played all the snaps, he has more experience than a lot of juniors that are playing. Now, and this kid is mature beyond his years. So now he's a sophomore. He's a sophomore in terms of experience, and he's learning. He's correcting himself, and the coaches are correcting him. The same thing is true with Big Frazier up there on the offensive line and some of the young offensive line we have. Crippen is getting better all the time, our center and leader. He was downfield mistakenly. That happens in the RPO. On the RPO, if the officials want to, they can call,
Every single time.
and they can talk about this. They can call a lineman downfield every single play. And I don't like that part of it, but they can call it. So we gotta be, if the end crashes, quarterback pulls the ball, throws a slant, or runs the ball. If the end doesn't crash, then you hand it to the running back. So that's the read. And he did a pretty good job,
Well,
pretty doggone job of it, and forced Northwestern to adjust at halftime.
when the back's to the boundary, they're reading that outside backer too, Coach, because they're not even reading the end anymore. Now they're looking for a backside post on the boundary. So
Right.
it's more it's more than the zone read was,
You have to process information fast,
yeah.
and then activate the appropriate response. So you read your keys. This is true. Linebackers, everybody has to do this. You read your keys, and then you activate the appropriate response. The way you teach the appropriate response is through repetition, setting up realistic game situations in practice, and repeat and repeat and repeat. Gruden, old crazy Gruden, John Gruden says that repetition is the mother of learning,
Yeah.
and that's true.
We used to
That's
do
true with everything.
we used to teach it part whole part. Show them part of the picture, show them the whole picture, and then condense it back down to part of the picture. So you kind of
So what practice is rehearsal.
yeah.
It's rehearsal for the game, but you have to, as a coach, set up realistic game situations and then coach the appropriate response. What to see, what to do, how to do it.
Well, Coach, this is the last thing I want to ask you about Maryland, and then I want to go into our segments because we got about 10 minutes left before I have to take off. But so it seems to me, and this isn't a revelation. It seems to me that Michigan, we are playing down or up to our opponents. We've done it all year, and that's kind of how we play. How can we get out of that rut? How can we play Michigan football? How can we put away a team and win a game how we're supposed to do it, and not win on a walk-off field goal or on a last-minute drive? How do we put these Maryland Terrapins away?
So I would like to reference for a lot of the people out there that are unhappy with the last two performances what Indiana had to do to win the game at Penn State. They had to throw had a remarkable last minute drive. And when you're behind like that, everything has to go right. If one thing goes askew, then you're not gonna win. So it happens in the Big Ten. Now, I think there's reasons as I look at it, some of it's I think this is look at the mental aspect of this is really critical. And the relationship. We talk forever about the relationship between performance and preparation and your mental approach. The relationship between motivation and performance. You have to be prepared mentally to be at your very best. I think after Michigan State, there was an exhaustion factor, a lot of injuries. And so thank God we were at home. Had we been in West Lafayette, my sense is that game might have ended up much differently. Everybody's affected by the officials are affected so, and they played hard against us. But I think that they learned from that. And then we had the bye week and we got healthy. And we came in, I don't think that we need to be at our very best mentally. And that is a great challenge of college athletics. And I've seen teams come out flat for the Super Bowl, not emotionally prepared for the Super Bowl. Who can understand? I don't know what it is. The weather patterns or sleep patterns or whatever it is. So we're going to go away again, but it's in the Eastern time zone. But play at 4 o'clock, which means that dark shall descend. It'll be partially a night game. So we just got to be ready mentally, and we got to be ready to be at our very best. And we have to commit ourselves not to make mistakes, to eliminate mistakes. And we have to do that as a coaching staff and to a man. Every man has to say, I'm not making mistakes. I'm going to hold on the ball. I'm not throwing interceptions. I'm not going to get dumb penalties. I'm going to play my very best, but I'm going to play within the construct of the offense and defense. Let my athletic ability express itself within that context and execute my assignment. As Bill Belichick would say, do your job. Do your job. So we need 11 men every play doing their job. Do your job.
Don't try to do somebody else's job. Don't try to win the play yourself. Just do your job. Play within the defense or offense, and we'll be all right.
And here's the caveat: if you're a mistake player, you're going to sit down. Period. Next man up.
I agree.
At this point, you cannot tolerate a preponderance of mistakes. If you're going to drop the ball or fumble the ball, you can't play. That is a precious. When you're allowed to carry the ball, you are being endowed with a precious, with the responsibility of holding on to something that is precious
Well, Coach,
and carrying the ball correctly.
you said it last week. You said we had a segment. You said the teams that win in November are scrappy, and we have to get a scrappy win. Well, that's about as scrappy of a win you could get last week. But yeah, let's go on to our barbershop talk. One thing I wanted to ask you about is, how did Bo incentivize you guys late in the season? Football helmet stickers, game balls. What did Bo do to get you guys going? It's the end of the year. You're beat up. People are hurt. Everything's going. What is getting the team and the boys going for the end of the season?
Well, number one, you got to be stronger mentally than to give in. I'm beat up. I'm tired. Forget that.
Yeah.
Forget that. That's what the losers do.
Yep.
You're not a loser. You're going to come back. They're young. They can come back. 2 days, 1 day, get sleep overnight. They're healed. I would fall on pavement like that and be out for a month. But these guys come back. Now, so there's a lot of ways to incentivize. We always had objectives, team objectives, and he would go over there. We always wanted to get almost 200 yards rushing, 250 yards rushing, and then 100 yards passing. We were a little skewed to the run. And then he had we wanted to get what we called sudden change. We wanted to win all sudden change situations. The defense, when they came at sudden change, is when you throw an interception and the defense is thrown back into the game and has to win in a sudden change situation. Stop the other opponent and destroy their momentum. By the same token, when you're trapped back inside your 10, you want to get a first down. So what he would do, he would go over those objectives every single game prior to the game. We want to win the kicking game. Here's how we're going to do it. But he would also incentivize you with helmet stickers, which they still do. And my great story about helmet stickers was this, and this is how he was. And it's a great story. And I tell this story because I think it has relevance for everything. I was a player again my junior year at Indiana. I played really well. I gained 99 yards. They had a decent team. They weren't top 10 team in the conference, but they were bottom, middle of the pack team. But we went down there and, I played a real good game. I got the ball, gained 99 yards, and I scored very well. They grade you, and there were different things he'd give you a helmet sticker for. And I'm telling you, we would die to get one of those helmet stickers. anything we could do to get one of those. Those were so important to us. Number one, we wanted the fans look at who has the stickers, and that's that's indicative that you're a pretty good player if you get a helmet sticker, if you got a lot of them. And they were hard to get. And I think maybe harder to get back then, and not easy. So you wanted to get a lot of helmet stickers, and we'd do anything. I mean, we would. That was so important to us. So he goes in the meeting, says you're the player of the game. More that you get a helmet sticker and stuff like that, and then you played great. Offense, defensive player game, scout team, guy who does the best job preparing the team. Those are the guys who get the awards, you get a trophy. Then you go back and sit down. Then he would go over, the defense would go, and the offense, they would stay in the same room, and he would start to award the helmet stickers, and he would go to each player that got awarded a helmet sticker, special team play, all those different things. So he came to me and he said, well, Thornblade, player of the game, sticker, you graded out really well. You got a sticker. You made a couple big runs. You got a sticker, outstanding run. Then he goes 99 yards. 99 yards. 99 yards. He goes, are you unaware, Thornblade, that if you gain 100 yards, you get a helmet sticker? Are you aware of that? He said, you got 99 yards. He said, and 99 is not 100. 99 is not 100. 99 is not 100. No helmet sticker. Next time, a little more effort, you'll get 100 yards, and you get a helmet sticker. Well, the lesson is good. You either get there, you either reach your objective, you either reach your goal, or you don't. And sometimes you're a little bit short, but you're short. So if you want to be rewarded, you will get to your goal. Now, that's true in everything. That's true. I always set goals for myself in business. I want to make so much a month and stuff like that. And if I don't get it, I don't get it. And that's it. And that's the way life is. So that was a great lesson for me. And so that was one of the ways, he incentivized you, but he didn't cheat on it. So, well, give you a smiley face like they give all the kids smiley face. You didn't get those from him. You either did it or you did not. And if you came up short, you came up short. And that's the way it is. And that is the way it is in life. So you strive hard and you do good. So I did pretty good, but not good enough. I could have done a little better. And I tell that story to young people because if you set a goal, you go after it. If you don't get it, then what you do is redouble your effort and you do what you got to do to get the goal the next time. And that's how you do it. So that's the way it was. That was the culture. That was the mentality. We cared deeply about each other. And he built that within us. We cared about Michigan. We cared about who we were. We cared about the tradition. And we took all of that, and that was on our back. And we liked it. And we liked the responsibility of playing and being Michigan and winning, because that is the tradition, and that's how you do it. So he would talk about that all the time, and he would talk about the opponents and what they were doing and how we were going to defeat them. So he projected victory. But when you didn't measure up, he told you. And mistakes, he didn't tolerate mistakes. Did not tolerate. And that's how you got to coach. That's how you got to do it with young people. You don't got, there's different ways to do it. Everybody's got to be themselves, but you got to be demanding. And if you're going to turn the ball over 5 times, you're not going to win. Now, however they did it, I don't know. They prevailed. God bless them. But you don't do it like that. I mean, you've got to be mistake proof. Now, you're going to make mistakes. The other day was playing against good athletes. It's going to happen. But, you fight like hell. And you have the will and the strength and the desire and the stamina and the perseverance to reach your objective and goals. That's how we were taught. That's how you do it. That's how the winning teams do it. You don't make excuses. When you come up short, you make no excuses. You go back to work and you redouble your effort and you do what's required to win.
And that's after he gave you a player of the game sticker.
I played a game, but at 99 is not 100. 99 is not 100.
Well,
99 is not 100. What the hell? If you gave a little more effort, no sticker. Next time, maybe you'll get 100.
Maybe he he might have liked being hard on you, Coach. What do you think?
Beautiful. He was beautiful. And of course, all the guys got a great kick out of that. 99 is not 100. Hey, you got a 99. It's not 100. All my teammates are.
Oh, that's great.
Make sure I understood that.
Reminds me of the stories of Belichick ripping up Brady in film. He gets on the guys that are, leaders of the team, and if he holds them accountable, he has to hold everybody accountable. You weren't Brady. You weren't Brady, but
Yeah, and Bo was remarkable that way, and he held the staff accountable, made everybody. Now you never felt like he was not on your side, and you wanted so much to please him. You wanted his affirmation. For him to call you, you're one tough guy. That was like the greatest thing that could ever happen to you in your life. Because that was the ethic, toughness, mental, physical toughness, a single-minded approach to victory, and to do what was required to win and make all the sacrifices that you have to make. It's easy not to do the right thing. It's easy. He'd say this. It's easy not to do the right thing. The hard thing is to do the right thing, to do all the things you have to do to be successful in life and in athletics. That's the hard thing. And it's easy just to give up or easy to excuse your losses, but you don't do it that way. Now you understand that it's going to happen, but what do? You go back to work and you figure it out, you come up with a solution, and then you aim for victory and you do what's required. And the great ones like Brady, Belichick would get on Brady's ass because he knew Brady. You just piss him off and you're going to get a great performance.
Ready to go.
And someday we'll talk about Lloyd's story about Brady. That's a whole other topic, but it's a wonderful story about Tom and Lloyd.
Well, we got one more, Coach. Let's do the true serum because I got 5 minutes. I got so many questions I want to ask you. One question is, is Jordan Marshall is unbelievable. How can you find who is a better running back? Who's better than Jordan Marshall on Michigan's offense? That's my first question. I don't think anybody. I don't know if there's any, but I don't think there's a better Big Ten. Is there a better big running back in the Big Ten than Jordan Marshall?
Well, there's some good backs out there. There's no question, but I'll take Marshall. I'll bet on Marshall. I'll go with Marshall. Marshall's our guy. He's wearing the right uniform, and in my estimation, he has risen to the occasion. The thing I like about him is this Justice Hayes shows up, an unbelievably talented competitor. Now, unfortunately, we lost him. Wouldn't it be beautiful if we had both those guys right now? But he went out there and did remarkable things, and Justice Haynes was a competitor, where the kids sat there and watched him and played behind him. And then when he got in, he played as hard as he could because there was competition within the position. And then he maintained that momentum. He maintained that standard of excellence, that standard of effort, never giving up. He's got these big, thick, strong legs, and his legs continue to move. On contact, his legs don't die. He moves his legs, and he makes beautiful cuts. Now he's a big, strong runner, and he gets tough yards. Not quite like Blake Corum, but like that, in that, the tough yards he gets in there. And so I think Justice Haynes takes part of the responsibility for his excellence because I think he watched that. He said, I better get going if I had a chance to play much because look at what this guy does. And then when we lost him, boy, he stood up and has taken on. He's a workhorse. He's a thoroughbred and a Clydesdale all in one, and a remarkable, remarkable player. He catches the ball well too, and his blocks well. So yeah, he's been a great player, and he showed up, man. That guy's, and I'll go anywhere with him. I'll bet on him anytime. He's really good. And I watch Marsh evolving. Some of our linemen are fighting like hell in there, and our tight ends and Bryce too. I like them. I like their attitude. Now, no mistakes, guys. Cut the mistakes out. Cut the mistakes out and get better. Get better, get better, get better. You never stay the same, like the old coach said. You get better. You get better or worse, get better or worse, and get better, get better, get better. So I watch Bryce and I see things of improvement. I see where he put more air onto the ball, where he threw passes better. I watch the same things with all the kids. And so
That's where I'm
they're
going.
making grievous mistakes that we can't allow. But there are errors of, we always talk about commission and omission. These are errors of commission. They're trying like hell, but they cannot be
That's
careless.
where
They have to have discipline. Got to have discipline to win.
Well, that's where I was going with this, Coach. With the way our offensive playing, we're banged up. Jordan's shoulders, all these different things. Justice Hayes is out. Do we still have what it takes to finish off this season and close out with 2 victories? Like what we got. We got everything in front of us, Coach. Do we still have what it takes? Do we have the personnel to win?
Hell yeah, we do. We can do it.
Let's go.
If we play perfect, but we got to play. We got to play mistake-free football.
No MAs.
And that has to be a goal from no missed assignments. Coaches are get us in the right place. Remember, coaching is getting what you emphasize. So emphasize ball security. We cannot turn it over. We have to win the kicking game. These are two critical aspects. We've got to be better on red zone. Now, part of it is Sharon likes to go for it on fourth down. And, when you're denied on fourth down, you're not going to get red zone points. But now is the time to take points. I talked about that against Northwestern. Savada, you came through. Your confidence is back. No more misses. No more misses. Make the adjustments. You're a kicker. You know what to do. There was wind there. You almost kicked a 60-yarder, for God's sake. We're going to need you. And remember what he did to Ohio State a year ago. He won the game a year ago with those wonderful kicks that he made. Long kicks.
Well, I appreciate that, Coach.
So we can do it, Rob. We can do it. But we got to be perfect.
Well, let's be.
And let me say this right away. And we need to do this against any of our competitors. And I don't give a damn if they've won every game or lost every game. The first thing we do is show them that we go out there, we're Michigan, and put doubt in their mind. And hit that young quarterback and put doubt in his mind. And then hit him and hit him and hit him and never give up. And that's what we've done. And I'll tell you, people can criticize Sharon and this team, but it's kind of remarkable. Now, they put themselves in these bad positions, but they come out of it. They come through in the end. And so I would like them to be more perfect and dominate these teams. But just, we said it before, L. Davis, just win, baby. So now it is win or survive. If we beat Maryland by 1 point, that's enough. But we want to do better than that. But that's what we have to do. And right away, we got to put doubt in the mind of Maryland. You've lost 6 in a row, and you're going to lose 7 now. We're here to win. We won 4 or 5 in a row. We're here to win. We have ambitions. We have bigger things ahead of us. We got goals. We got objectives, and you shall not deter us.
Well, let's put doubt in their mind, Coach. Thanks for joining me again today. Go Blue, and right. I'll see you soon.
Blue. Fire up.